Oh my god, bitch, you guessed it. Hi everyone. Happy motherfucking New Year's, or almost New Year's, or oh my god, hi. Welcome to Bitch You Guessed It. I'm Shanti Teg. If you are new here, welcome. If you are not new here, welcome. Right now we're gonna get cracking. Because 2025, let's get at it. We're talking predictions, we're talking numerology, and we're talking game plan. Yes? Cheers. This is Rise Mushroom Cafe. I'm still loving this, dude. And in this one, because you cannot hydrate enough, in my opinion, okay? This is warm water with Manuka honey. I've been loving that lately. Okay, cheers. Thank you, Frank. All right, everyone. Okay, 2025. Let's start with some numerology. Okay, I study tantric numerology. And it's just been such a fun tool to use in my life. My producer's here in the background in case you hear her. And here we go. Okay, so tantric numerology, I love to use it with clients. I use it for my own life. But like with anything like astrology, numerology, all of that, I like to use it as like a tool that can offer insight and expansion as opposed to limitations. Meaning, well, I have 5s in my chart, so that's really not for me. Or I have a Cancer moon, so I can't really do that. Or even like, human design. So that being said, as this episode unfolds, take what's beneficial and expansive and leave what's not, okay? And P.S. I cuss like a sailor if that's not a match for you, okay? Bye! All right, Bitch Squad, here we go. Tantric Numerology Breakdown first for 2025. So that turns into a 9. We're about to walk into a 9 year. We're finishing off an 8 year. 2024 was an 8 year. 2 plus 2 plus 4 is 8. 2 plus 2 plus 5 is 9. Oh my gosh, we did math. Hello. Thank you very much. Okay. I am multi-talented. Yes, I know. All right, so the 9 year, what in the fuck does that mean? Well, I'm not going to get into the whole breakdown of like how you do and what you do and all the stuff for the sake of fucking time. But some real bullet pointed things of importance, in my opinion, are 9 is a number of total mastery. It's like more masterful than any of the other numbers that we work with in tantric numerology. So typically what we're working with in tantric numerology is 0 to 10 or even 11. And then we kind of like start over from there. That's a whole different unpack on how we actually apply that to numbers in life, numbers in a birthday or a birth chart. All right, so 9 is the number of total mastery. And this could look like mastery of self, mastery of talents, mastery of a skill. You do you, let that land wherever it lands, okay? In kundalini yoga, we operate on a 9, 10, sorry. Hey-o! Yeah, Shanti, take, get it! We operate on a 10 body system, and the 9th body is the subtle body. And when I think of the subtle body, and so you could think of like this body system structure kind of like being the other systems of the body, where you have the glandular system and the lymphatic system, and then you have the cellular system and the nervous system, okay? So very similar. It's just different. It's on a different kind of playing field of existence, so to speak, okay? So the subtle body, the way I like to think of the subtle body is, if you've ever seen Donnie Darko, and I'll see if I can like insert a little pic or something like that here. Okay, there's a scene where he's at like a party, and there are these like energy tunnels coming out from like the belly or the solar plex, and then kind of like undulating out and having like this broad reach, and then it's commingling with other people's kind of like subtle body energy streams. And so essentially what the subtle body is, that's my visual when I think of the subtle body, but it's the subtle aspects of you that can reach to the ethers and beyond. Okay, so you could think of it as prayer, or even meditation if prayer, the word prayer is kind of triggering for you. When maybe you are thinking of a person or a group or a circumstance or scenario that isn't necessarily in front of your face. It could be like, you know, in the next town, across the country, across the planet. And especially when it's a concentrated collective point of focus at one particular point in time, that's like the reach that that subtlety has, is now measurable through scientific instrumentation, which is just wild. Okay, so your subtle body, which is the 9th body, and we're walking into a 9 year for 2025, is so impactful. If you've ever heard of like remote viewing, that is an aspect of subtle body activation where through deep meditation, trance, and the ability to then move your consciousness about the multiverse, you know, that's a subtle body activation. It takes a very strengthened and you know, kind of pro level subtle body to be able to do those things. All right, so we have access to a deeper understanding and a deeper experience of our own ability to impact others, or circumstances, scenarios, the planet, whatever, that aren't necessarily directly in our life, just by our intention. And then you can go deeper if you're a practitioner of yoga, meditation, or whatever you might be a practitioner of. And even if you're not a practitioner of those things, it can literally just be a repetitive thought, a repetitive point of focus. And when you activate the heart, meaning like essentially just what that means is when you add love to that scenario of thought process, then you can really have a deeper experience with the reach that your subtle body has. Okay. All right, so now, all right, so subtle body activation, solar plex activation. Even though the solar plex is actually like a 3, there's still kind of like this as above, so below, when we're working with that, you know, the 9, which is the 2025 year that we're walking into, where you have to have a strengthened navel point and a very active, clean and cleared solar plex in order for that subtle body to have the reach that it can have. Okay, and you're here. If you're watching this, there's no co-winky fucking dink. You're here to make an impact. You already are making an impact. In this next year that we're about to walk into invites us to go bigger, bolder, and more impactful, which doesn't necessarily mean do more, but it does mean project more. Okay, and I know that might be like, what does that mean? Clear focus, more love, clear intention. We're going to get more into that, okay? All right. So 2025, 9 year, planetary activation is the moon. So the moon's going to be an active participant even more so in this 9 year. And you can just lean into the energy of the moon for support. You could think of it as you know, Mother Moon, Mother Earth, Mother Moon, the connection between the two is how I interpret it, the energy of the moon. There's so much to it, but there is a sensual energy to the moon, much like Venus. And whenever there's like a Venus gate and you can see in the sky that the moon and Venus are just hanging, it's like I see like these two like bad bitches just hanging out, getting fucking sexy in the sky, okay? So that's my relationship with the moon, among other things. Color activation, if you're into color therapy, is purple. So if you, let's say you wanted to activate or work on a maybe deeper, fun level, bring more purple flowers, lavender essence, lavender oil. Blue lotus would be a wonderful plant ally to work with in this 9 year as well. Wearing purple, artwork, whatever, get wild. Purple's not like my jam. I was just, as I was, going through the number 9, I was like, do I even have purple? I definitely, my daughter loves Kuromi, so there's definitely purple in the house, which, hey-o. But as far as like clothes, so that's a little homework for me, is like, get a little something, okay? And have fun with it. This is meant to be fun and supportive and offer an experience of limitlessness instead of limiting, all right? So if any of this feels limiting, just move on, right? Just like, okay, and next. As I look at the energy of the next year and how things can unfold, it's complex. And I'll tell you why. It's one of the reasons why I don't really offer traditional readings any longer, because I noticed that there was like this theme with clients, and again, reflection of what I had going on at the time too, please believe, is that people wanted a roadmap really spelled out for them. And I noticed that wasn't really serving the client in a growth process. It was almost like, it felt like, fortune telling was giving kind of an easy way out. And I'm not suggesting that all kind of fortune telling or psychic readings do that. It was just my own experience. And so I always have that as an aspect of my work, please believe. But I pair it with the emotional health and the kundalini yoga, because I'm interested in people having an experience where they can do the thing themselves to learn and grow, not just get the answers from me and then move on. Yes. The other piece is there are endless timelines. If you can think it, it's happening right now, just on a different fucking timeline. So just because I'm tapping into something doesn't necessarily mean that it's the exact timeline that's going to be unfolding for you, for us, whatever. But it does mean that it's a timeline that exists. And I think that's kind of a mismark for so many psychics out there that don't offer that information of the quantum lifetimes, where there are many endless scenarios and options and timelines that are all unfolding all at the same time. And we need to become the match frequency, which is why I incorporate all of this with the emotional health and the kundalini yoga, to choose the timeline that we want. So let's say I receive the download, the information, I give you that information. It doesn't mean it's going to unfold, but it means that that's a possibility. And if that's what you want, you better get your butt in gear to become the match so you can hop the fucking timeline. Okay. All right. So when I'm looking at the particular timeline that I'm seeing two different timelines right now, actually, and when I was doing this work before, they were both coming through. Okay. So we have, potentially two really clear options, okay? We could think of it as high road, low road, okay? So there might be lots on the planet that's happening currently that you might not like, or there might be a lot of things that are happening on the planet that you do like. Now, here's the thing. Your job, my job, is to find the benefit in all of it, even the stuff that we don't like. What's the benefit? What's the lesson? And the lesson might be, can I hold the pose and stay steady within my own heart, within my own mind, within my own being? Okay? Can I remember to just be present, stay in my own lane, and look at what is directly in front of me? And that's my tagline for this next year. Okay, well, what's in front of me? What's in front of me? What's in front of me? That's the tagline for either timeline, okay? But that's really what's going to get us to this higher timeline, I feel, is, okay, what's in front of me? Because this 9 brings this massively, I'm going to call it denser experience with sensory sensitivity. And sensory sensitivity is wonderful. It is gorgeous. It can also be insanely detrimental if you don't have the muscle, the strength to focus on what the fuck's in front of you and stay in your own lane and remind yourself of like, okay, I'm watching that on TV or social media, or I'm hearing somebody talk about something that they've experienced. That's not me in my story. So can I remember that in the moment of activation and just come back to what's right in front of me? Vitally important. Vital, 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 vital. One timeline I'm seeing tons and tons and tons of adult-sized temper tantrums because of this heightened sensitivity, things getting kind of blown out of proportion, people really going out of their way to express their backlogged anger in a way that's very, very irresponsible, in my opinion, because it's, you know, whatever circumstance that they're focused on that probably doesn't even involve them anyways, is being fueled by the repressed emotions that they've carried probably for lifetimes, and they're using this particular occasion that again probably has nothing to do with them to unload and unleash. Okay, but now what's the flip side to that? Okay, that's the muggle route. That's the muggle route. That's the unaware, that's the sleeper route. And I was a sleeper at some point. You might be a sleeper at some point. We're not going to judge that, but we want to be aware of it and then choose the other option. And the other option looks like, I'm going to make damn sure that I'm going to address my emotional health in a way that feels like yes to me. I'm going to dive into spirituality or whatever that is, or some sort of practice that reminds me that I am more than just this fucking meat suit. Okay, and you do you on that. And then I'm going to remember to focus on, okay, well, what's right in front of me? What's right in front of me? I've identified thank you thing over here that really has nothing to do with me, but yet allowed me to get clear on what my yes is and what my no is. Thank you, and I'm going to fucking bring it over here and focus on directly what's in front of me. What's in my life? What am I wearing? What am I eating? What am I consuming? What's my kid doing? What's in the room? What's the air quality? You know, whatever. Okay, like what's affecting you in your life in that moment? Because chances are what's happening on social media, even though it's in front of your face, doesn't necessarily impact you in your life. And I know that's a fucking bitch sometimes to remember, because when we are avoiding what we have been fucking shoving down for potentially lifetimes, we can really convince ourselves that the distraction has everything to do with us, but it really fucking doesn't. Can I get a cheers? Woo-hoo! All right. Oh my God, I love a swish. It's like I'm my own decanter. I don't drink anymore, but when I did back in the day, and I would take a sip of beer, I would always like swish through my teeth like I'm decanting a fine wine. It brings out the flavors. Okay, the top notes, the low notes, the florals. Oh, okay, so that is kind of like the prediction where we really have, hey dude, if we thought the past however many years were pressurized, that was just setting the motherfucking scene for what's coming in 2025. Now remember, it can be fucking utopian as long as you have a practice that supports your emotional health, that supports you in your own mental and physical dexterity. We got to get the body on board, okay? If that's available to you. And there's all different types of ways to do that, especially if you're a person who's differently abled. You do you. You find something. I teach yoga to people. I have one longtime client that she does yoga in a chair and she can't move half of her body. That's okay. You know, there's all different types of ways that you can find what's going to work for you, and it does not have to look like anything else. Even we don't even want it to look like anything else. And if we're paying attention to just what's in front of us, we're not going to be tempted to compare or compete or to complain. Hi. Okay. This is a pivotal moment, okay? Have we heard of the golden age? Have we heard of the Aquarian age? This is a new era that we're ushering in. You are ushering in this era. I am ushering in this area. And this 9 year is pivotal because after this 9 year, we reset back to 1. Typically. Okay. Okay. So let's make the most of us. And okay, let's make the most of us. Okay. And one of the ways that we can, especially as we're walking into like this new year, I'm not like a huge fan of New Year's resolution because oftentimes I feel like that's like kind of been this psyop of like money making February or March, where it's like, fuck. I fell off the wagon, whatever, I fell off. So let me just consume this to distract, consume that to distract, and consume this to distract the fact that I have commitment issues and I don't know what the fuck it is to be devoted. But I do know what it is to be addicted, right? How many of us have gone through this? Where it's New Year's, new year, new me, and then you might ride out January like going strong, and then some shit fucking happens, and then you're derailed and whatever the fuck. Okay, now I'm not here to fucking shame that. I'm just interested in like what's a more sustainable way. So I'm not really interested in New Year's resolutions. Okay, I think it's total fucking bullshit. I'm more interested in like springtime resolutions, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? All right. So what is the difference between addiction and devotion? That's going to be a big one for this next year ahead. And at any time, but the energy of this is going to be highlighted and way more pressurized. You're really going to see patterns. 9 also highlights patterns, both beneficial and non-beneficial. A beneficial pattern is devotion. I'm devoted to my morning practice. I spend a couple hours every single morning, 7 days a week, doing yoga and chanting and breathwork and all the fucking things because it's very, very important to me. I like to see the sunrise. It's a very magical, powerful baller fucking move to do that. And so I do that. That's devotion. Okay. Now, previously, I had to have my cup of coffee in the morning or whatever the case is. And I'm not knocking fucking coffee. And that's you, that's fine. But for me, I noticed that was an addiction. I was riding the high of the caffeine in a non-beneficial way. And so I stopped that shit. And I can stop that shit because I have emotional health practices and kundalini yoga to go in and do the fine tuning. So where it's easy, and I don't give myself a lot of too much pressure where it's like, oh, that's bad, I gotta do that. It's just like, oh, one day I'm just not doing that. That's what it is, to have your emotional health dialed and to have a practice like kundalini yoga on board. You don't even really need to think of like, I'm doing this, that's bad, or I'm gonna stop, like kind of like that dry addict syndrome where it's just like, I'm not drinking, but I'm fucking thinking about it or identifying as this, that, or the other. It's like all of a sudden it's just not in your life, and then something else is. And it's awesome. All right. So that's going to be highlighted. Patterns are going to be highlighted. So again, the tagline, what's right in front of me, what's right in front of me, what's right in front of me is going to be so important in so many different scenarios in life, especially when when these patterns, whether it be, I'm seeing a lot of relationship patterns being highlighted, whether it's like, you're calling in toxic relationships potentially in order to highlight your own toxic relationship that you have with yourself, meaning like how you allow yourself to be treated on repeat, whether maybe you contort your behavior, like you pretend to be something else or someone else in order to people please or attract a mate, keep a job, get fired from the job, right? Because, there's commitment issues there, collapse under pressure type thing, okay? Also, the beautiful patterns, especially in relationships, like noticing and highlighting the beauty that you bring into people's lives. People are going to be, I'm seeing that people are going to be telling you the impact that you have in their life. The radiance that you bring to the table, that you might have a glow, or the look in your eye, the shine in your eye. I feel comfortable around you. I feel like I could tell you anything type vibes, like something like that. You know, I feel like you're going to be celebrated on repeat. But you got to allow it. That's the thing. If you're hearing that, you're like, oh my God, that's the thing. You know, it's all available to you as long as you're opened up to it. Okay. And that's part of taking like that high road. Yes, sensory sensitivity can be uncomfortable, but that's where the growth happens. Comfort zone is where creativity and growth go to die. Okay, so let's get uncomfortable, which brings me to my last little nugget here for this particular episode, breaking down 2025, which is go on adventures. Maybe instead of getting the gym membership, plan a trip. Go on an adventure. See what's possible. Even if like you take the bus somewhere new, you drive somewhere new, and if you have the means, go wild, fly somewhere new, somewhere that you haven't been before. Adventure, adventure, adventure. I'm really seeing adventure being so important, calling in the higher timeline, allowing us to be the match frequency to step into the higher timeline, to carve out that kind of like new era, golden age, Aquarian age on this planet, okay? For so many of us, I'm seeing adventure being of holding more of a denser impact than the healthy eating, the exercise, all of that. Now, yes, those things are important. Please do those things. But what's tipping the scale of impact when I'm looking at all of this, especially as the 9, you know, brings all of what it's bringing in to the 2025, adventure, 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 excitement, letting your heart fucking soar, feeling free, getting that rush, that zing of doing something new, of the unknown, of getting uncomfortable. It is that I feel is really going to be way more impactful than what maybe like the traditional New Year's resolutions typically look like. Maybe it's starting a YouTube channel, maybe it's writing a book, maybe it's whatever. But I'm really seeing, as far as adventure, it feels like physical adventure, if that's available to you. And if that's not excuse me, available to you, redefine what adventure is. Maybe it could be reading a new book, writing something, again, listening to new music, opening yourself up to something new. New. Fresh. That is the name of the game. All right, y'all, we unpacked a lot. Let me just go over my notes really quick. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything, because there's so much more that we could unpack. But yeah, if there's anything that I would love to stick here, it's like, okay, what's in front of me? Okay, that's noisy and yucky. Okay, that's noisy and amazing. Even if it's amazing, let's remember what's right in motherfucking front of my own ass, okay? And then focus on that for at least 17 seconds if you can. Count it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Wild. I know. It's like, that bitch just stared at the fucking camera and counted to 17. I'm gonna do it again. All right. And then over here, just focus and count to 17. Focus on one thing that's awesome, or at least less shitty than what was over here on social media. Okay. And then remember, stay in your own lane. And that is how you stay in your own lane. Focus on what the fuck is in front of you. Right now, it's you. Mwah! All right, 2025 coming in hot. Woo, hoo, hoo. 9-year, comment below how this land. Did something stick out? You got a question? I'll do my best to answer. B Squad, love you all so fucking much. It is party time. I'm ready. I'm ready for this energy. I'm ready to get wild, and I am ready for adventure. Pew, 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 pew. All right, okay. Satnam, y'all. Blessed be. Fuck yes.